I am Michael Kourosh. I live in Santa Barbara, California, one of the most beautiful places on earth. My design center is where people come to reimagine their homes and spaces. I work with the best designers, clients with broad tastes, and experts who navigate the fascinating world of design. I'm always excited to learn something new, and I never say no to a challenge. This is Design Santa Barbara. Welcome to Design Santa Barbara. Today we are visiting the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Chichen Itza in the Yucatan Peninsula on the east coast of Mexico. It's named one of the new 7 wonders of the world. Let's start with a little intro into the great Mayan culture and architecture. And then we take a look at the main pyramid in Chichen Itza called El Castillo. The Maya are an indigenous people of Mesoamerica. The ancient Mayan civilization lived in sections of present-day Mexico, Belize, and Guatemala. And archeological records show tribes dating back as far as 10,000 years ago. The archaic period before 2000 BC saw the first developments in agriculture and the earliest villages. The pre-classic period saw the establishment of the first complex societies in the Maya region and the cultivation of crops including maize, beans, squashes, and chili pepper. The first Maya cities developed around 750 BC, and by 500 BC these cities possessed monumental architecture including large temples with elaborate stucco facades. Beginning around 250 AD, the classic period is largely defined as when the Maya were raising sculpted monuments and developed many city-states linked by a complex trade network. Maya cities tended to expand organically. The city centers comprised ceremonial and administrative complexes, surrounded by an irregularly shaped sprawl of residential districts. Different parts of a city were often linked by causeways. Architecturally, city buildings included palaces, pyramid temples, ceremonial ball courts, and structures specially aligned for astronomical observations. The Maya elite were literate and developed a complex system of hieroglyphic writings. Theirs was the most advanced writing system in the pre-Columbian Americas. Maya recorded their history and ritual knowledge in screenfold books. Rule during the classic period centered on the concept of the divine king, who was thought to act as a mediator between the mortals and the supernatural realm. A prospective king was expected to be a successful war leader as well as a ruler. The Maya developed a highly complex series of interlocking ritual calendars, including the infamous long-form calendar that ended on December 12, 2012. Though initially thought to be the foreshadowing of a cataclysmic event, this end date was merely a mathematical certainty. Despite building a vast and vibrant society, much of the Mayan society was wiped out by invading Spanish forces in the 16th century and beyond. The war and disease wrought upon them destroyed what may have been one of the great cultures of the Western Hemisphere. I don't think I will play the ball game the way the Mayans, but certainly it must have been fun and entertaining. We will be back after the break with more Design Santa Barbara in Chichen Itza. Today on Design FYI, we're going to talk about what not to buy when you're going shopping for rugs. Most big outlets or national chains, they sell nowadays hand-tufted rugs. This sounds like it's hand knotted, it's done by hand, but actually they are not. It's called hand-tufted and is actually a gun that rolls the wool around the warp, and they are not good rugs at all. So this is a sample we're having here for you to see. Anything that has a backing like this, flip your rugs over at home, see if it has a backing, is absolutely not good. So what it does is it hides what they did below this thing, which is a latex glue, which actually is toxin. And if you have got any rugs over the net, I hate to say it, over the net, because it's easy to sell and they're inexpensive, you buy these things over the internet. So when it comes to your house, they smell. Have you noticed that? They smell more like a gasoline or more like a diesel because they don't let the latex cure. And the latex that glues this wool to this backing smells a lot. On top of that, they shed quite a lot. The wool is cheap because they need to be inexpensive, and they shed. I would not recommend you to get anything, again, that has a backing and is glued, because it comes apart very easily. It is temporary. It is not a green product because they wear very quickly, end up in the fill, and just basically as a landfill junk we are adding to our planet. The things I would recommend you to get, unlike these things that have backing, is the rugs that they have nuts to them. So as what to buy, I highly recommend you to get some rugs that they are hand knotted. And how you can see, flip it to the back, and you can see the knots are done individually, and each one is slightly different than the next one because they're done by hand, and the intensity of the wool and the pull they have, the weaver, makes them look different. Also, the sides are done by hand. That you can see very easily. If you want to buy a real rug, please come to Santa Barbara Design Center and I can gladly help you. Thank you for joining us on Design FYI, Santa Barbara Design Center, Fort and Olive. Let's talk about my favorite subject, rugs. Here at Rugs & More inside Santa Barbara Design Center, we pride ourselves in offering the finest selection of rugs. With any size, shape, and design imaginable, let us help you find the ideal rug for your home. We have a vast assortment of new and antique rugs. Whether you're looking for a touch of modern or an heirloom that can be passed down for generations, you will find it here. Also, we offer expert repair and cleaning to bring your treasured family rugs back to life. Don't settle for poorly made internet rugs. Let's get real. They are made with harmful chemicals and they don't last. Our rugs are the best for less, and we always offer our 110% lowest price guarantee. And to save even more, come in during our rug sale and let our expert staff guide you to the perfect rug. Rugs & More inside Santa Barbara Design Center, 410 Olive Street. Thank you for joining us on Design Santa Barbara. Today we are visiting the Mayan ruins of Chichen Itza on the Yucatan Peninsula. Next, we will learn about the function of Caracol Building, the Temple of Warriors, and Thousand Columns Complex. Please join us.
Chichen Itza was a major focal point in the northern Maya lowlands from the late Classic to post-Classic periods. The site exhibits a multitude of architectural styles, reminiscent of styles seen in central Mexico and of the Puuc and Chenes styles of the northern Maya lowlands. The presence of central Mexican style was once thought to have been representative of direct migration or even conquest from central Mexico. Chichen Itza was one of the largest Maya cities, and it was likely to have been one of the mythical great cities or Tollans referred to in later Mesoamerican literature. The city may have had the most diverse population in the Maya world. a factor that could have contributed to the variety of architectural styles on the site. The Maya name Chichen Itza means at the mouth of the well of the Itza. Several archaeologists in the late 1980s suggested that unlike previous Maya tribes of the early classic period, Chichen Itza may not have been governed by an individual ruler or a single dynastic lineage. Instead, the city's political organization could have been instructed by a system characterized as rulership through council composed of members of elite ruling lineage. Chichen Itza was a major economic power in the northern Maya lowlands during its height. Chichen Itza was able to obtain locally unavailable resources from distant areas such as obsidian from central Mexico and gold from southern Central America. Between 900 and 1050, Chichen Itza expanded to become a powerful regional capital controlling north and central Yucatan. It established Isla Cerritos as a trading post. Chichen Itza's decline may have occurred around the 13th century, when it was conquered by another tribe. Some 200 years later, when the Spanish came to the Yucatan, Chichen Itza was annexed peacefully at first, but resistance eventually led to its abandonment and recapture. By the 1600s, the area was used by the Spanish as a cattle ranch. By the middle of the 19th century, the invention of photography allowed archaeologists to share pictures of the site with the world. The subsequent interests helped fuel numerous expeditions to explore and catalog the site. In 1894, the United States Consul to Yucatan, Edward Herbert Thompson, purchased the Hacienda Chichen, which included the ruins of Chichen Itza. For 30 years, Thompson explored the ancient city. His discoveries included the earliest dated carving upon a lintel in the temple of the initial series and the excavation of several graves in the high priest's temple. In 1926, the Mexican government charged Edward Thompson with theft, claiming he stole the artifacts from the cenote sagrado and smuggled them out of the country. The government seized the Hacienda Chichen. Thompson, who was in the United States at the time, never returned to Yucatan. Subsequent expeditions were sponsored by the National Geographic Society and overseen by the Mexican government. Let's look at more of the fascinating locations at this historic site. Today, the ruins of Chichen Itza are federal property, and the site's stewardship is maintained by Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History. The land under the monuments had been privately owned until March of 2010, when it was purchased by the state of Yucatan. To see this location in person is truly transformative. With over 2 million visitors annually, I'm honored to add it to Design Santa Barbara's list of great locations around the world.
I truly hope you enjoyed this episode of Design Santa Barbara and looked into rich history and architecture of Mayan culture of Mexico. I encourage you to visit Chichen Itza and enrich your soul and mind. How many times in the last year have you said to yourself, I really need a new sofa? Spending so much time at home lately, you deserve the most comfortable furniture. At Santa Barbara Design Center's massive showroom, we have numerous selections of sofas and sectionals that you can take home today. Or we can custom build your dream sofa. We make the most comfortable and stylish sofas and sectionals in the industry today. Just ask the top designers in Santa Barbara. They use our sofas and sectionals in their projects because they know clients are beyond satisfied with the results. For a decision as important as this, don't go online or buy from a catalog photo. Come into 410 Olive Street and let our experienced team help you find the perfect fit for your home. Trust me, you want to sit on it before you buy it.
My grandfather taught me about the beauty of the rugs. Each one tells a story. Story about the person who wove it, the person who bought it, the person who inherits it, the person who treasures it. It's amazing how simply looking at an object can bring you back to a different place and time, or remind you of someone you love. At Santa Barbara Design Center, we want to help you find a rug that will travel through time with your family for generations to come. Visit us at 410 Olive Street and find your treasure today. Today I would like to talk to you about rugs. 3 important things to remember when you are buying a rug. First is the size. Size is very important, and this is what you have to do your study. So if it's for a living room, I recommend to have the front legs of all the furniture to sit on the certain rug you're buying. So go measure it. Make sure you have at least a foot extended beyond the front legs. If you can afford it, get a rug that encompasses all the furniture to be sitting on it. So usually for a living room, you're talking an 8x10, 9x12, a bigger living room, 10x14, and if you want something to sit on it, 12x15 or 12x18. Second, there is a style. It is very important that the style you pick matches the house you have. Check the room. Is it a traditional house? Is it a modern house? Is it a transitional house? You pick the style matching your house and your living style. Lastly, and one of the most important steps, is the type of rug you're gonna buy. I highly recommend you to do your study and see what type of rug is good for your situation. Most rugs I recommend are hand knotted. So these are the type of rugs that they're done by hand. They're mostly natural fibers. They don't have any chemicals. They don't have any machines involved making it. They're hand knotted and they get more valuable over the time, and they're very durable and long lasting. These are 3 things to remember when you're buying a rug. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Design Santa Barbara. I'm Michael Kourosh, and today we are in Santa Barbara Design Center, heading south to Montecito to visit my dear friend Leesa Wilson-Goldmuntz. She has this beautiful project I hear about, and I'm excited to see what is this all about. Oh my goodness. What happened to you, Leesa?
Well, this is why I haven't been on the show in a minute.
We have missed you so long.
I decided to do a cheerleading jump, which was a bad idea. My daughters dared me. And instead of the jump, I separated my Achilles tendon from the back of my foot.
Oh my gosh.
So that was several months ago. And in 40 more weeks, I'll be just fine.
You're looking fine already. You're looking fine, but I hope, pray that gets speedy recovery.
It's slow and steady is going to win the race on this one.
Wonderful. So, what are we doing here?
Well,
from outside looks beautiful. Looks like a Normandy house. It looks like dream house from outside.
And that's the point about the project. This was so much fun. I have a client who acquired the house who called me and said, I really love the outside of the house. I really love the neighborhood, but the inside is like not good.
Okay.
So he talked to me about, I don't really care what you do, but I want to make it really nice, and I want to make it comfortable, and I want to walk in and I don't want to feel like it's dated. But I also don't want to spend a bunch of money right now until I move in on things like the bathrooms. And if you can help me see it in a different light, then I know I'm going to love this house.
Oh yeah, your client picked the right person.
Well, what often happens with houses of this age, it's a couple 20-ish years old, is that the first time the people did it, it was lavish and it was a lot of drama. Let me walk into the living room with you and we'll talk about what the drama was in here.
Yes, I'm actually excited to see it. Haven't had you for a long time on our show. It's a fresh air. Let's do.
Alrighty, off we go.
Okay, now I can see Leesa's signature. This is a beautiful place. And is it really an old house?
It is. It's a house that has some years on it. And what the client, who is such a nice person, just couldn't see is that there was pink pearlescent paint on all of the trim. And this was carpet. It was black, very expensive carpet for the time, but it had red and pink roses in it.
Nice.
So it had this timestamp on it that said, oh, 80s sort of thing. But he really liked the fireplace. And what we decided to do was take a piece of art that related to that and then run with that color palette.
Wow, okay. So this painting you got, and then that was the palette for the whole house.
Everything took off from
Beautiful.
there. So as you can see, we've used coral, green, and gray, and then just surrounded that with more muted colors of coral, green, and gray. The rug you might recognize.
Oh, I was going to say, I kept hold myself back, but yeah, oh my goodness, this is my favorite rug, which you, by the way, helped design, and thank you. It's beautiful.
Well, this one that I had you make for me is 16 by 24. So that tells you the scope of the room.
And it doesn't go even all the way to the end.
And the scale, what I like about it is that it says, here's a space, there's a space in the bay window, but yet you're not walking straight onto a rug. You need to have an island for things, but if you go all the way over, it gets a little tight.
It is the frames actually, beautifully. And I can see there's 1 sitting, 2 sitting, 3 sitting areas, and actually you have also ottomans there, so literally 4 sitting areas you have in the same room.
Well, you know how I love a pull-up ottoman.
Yes.
So what can happen is, because this can be an entertaining house, the gardens are magical. You want this to be a room where a lot of people can come and have vignettes where they can talk and greet each other. So people can sit here, but then these people can go here or there.
Beautiful.
And then we pull those up if we need more.
I think you did marvelous in here. I'm very airy, very happy, and not modern, but very comfortably contemporary.
Yes, transitional.
Transitional, yes.
We used one paint color throughout all the walls to unify the hallways and the spaces, so it felt, again, a little bit more modern instead of that sort of 80s, 90s vernacular of here's a room that's red, and here's a room that's pink, and here's a room that's green.
I bet you the viewers picked on that. One color wall makes a big difference.
Yeah.
All right, very good. So, let's see another room.
Let's go. This adjoins we have his and her offices, which is also so great right now because so many people have been working from home. So we'll go to the office.
All right. Ooh, this is, I take it is his office, hopefully?
Yes.
It looks like a safari.
Well, and again, this is one of the fun things about showing you a project when it's like almost done but not quite, because we like this room the way it is, but we're also thinking about maybe painting all the woodwork a really pretty dark gray, a high gloss dark gray, which would make it even more modern, and it'd be fun for people to see it like this and then imagine it if they're doing their own house, like, oh, I could paint, like if I'm tired of my wood, I could just paint.
Well, you know, it's not easy, but you know, yeah, it's gonna change big time, I would say. You're right.
When we think about remodeling costs, paint is the fastest and the least expensive thing to do. Better than moving a wall, better than changing floors.
Absolutely true. Don't say moving the walls in Santa Barbara County. That's you're not moving any walls.
But this is a really comfortable office, and because of the woodwork, we decided this would be the master of the house, if you will.
And it's beautiful view with those bay windows, and it's beautiful. Everything has so many tall, big windows. It makes it airy. And as you said, there are beautiful gardens, which we're going to see hopefully later.
Yeah, we'll take you out to the garden. But again, we used furnishings in here that spoke to, it's more clubby, it's a little bit more masculine, with an antique set of Dumas books that have been in the family for a long time, and taking the art and again making it relate to what we did in the other room.
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice.
Thanks. So we'll head that way now.
And this room is?
So here's the ladies' office, or whoever else wants it. What we love about this is that it's completely different than the other room. It's so light and it's so bright, which is why we said there's a positive, like, female-male vibe going on. So we made this really relaxing with the bay windows being the star of the show and the light. But the thing I love about it is that this used to be a ballet room. There was a mirrored wall and a ballet bar, and again it was like, well, that's so specific to the people who used to be here. When you buy a house that's older, make the rooms what you want, not what they wanted.
Absolutely, and it's beautiful. I love this chase you have in here, and you can see the lady sitting here reading a book, and
it's just really restful.
A beautiful desk. I mean, it's just, I see even some real correlation. You have that shagreen on it, could be related to the safari team out there. It's beautiful, beautiful, very nice. Leesa, thank you as usual. This is a wonderful experience having you on our show, and our viewers love you, and I do too. And it is a beautiful project you have had, and I see still another piece of property down there. And what is that about?
It's a guest house and a pool, and there's an outdoor fireplace. And as we were just commenting, we are so lucky to live in Montecito, where the weather is gorgeous, and we can have things like outside fireplaces and pools and hot tubs 12 months a year. And again, we laugh because the pool house, when we first got here to start this project, was red, all of it, and now it's not. So you'll take a wander down there, and you can see the reveal yourself. We made it a little bit red, but more red, white, and blue.
I will definitely check it out. So, based on the project you did today, and you did I think you say it's a big remodel to me, but you say it's not, without changing the footprint of the whole house. Maybe you can tell the viewers how you do this and why you should do it and what are the benefits for it.
Okay. I think that there's two different things to design. One is a remodel, and the other one is sort of a redecoration. And what we did here mostly was a redecoration, because we didn't really have to move walls. The rooms were all where they should be, and they were the right size. So to remodel, sometimes you have to change the footprint of something that feels old. This had a great footprint, and what we needed to do was just bring it into the 21st century with colors and furniture and fixtures that work for what we all want today and what we like today. The 80s and the 90s especially had a warmer color palette than we are seeing now. So we cooled down the color palette and lifted everything and just made everything relax.
I surely did, and it looks beautiful, marvelous. It's happy. You go in
It's a
there,
happy
it feels
house.
like airy, happy, and it's not modern, it's transitional, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so very much. I appreciate it, as usual, being on our show, and delightful to see your projects.
Well,
and
it's good to be back.
Good to be back.
I'm sorry I was absent.
No, well, you're back now. Okay. Thank you again.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome.
That's why I love working with Leesa Wilson-Goldmuntz. She's an amazing interior designer. As we can see, she takes an old house and without changing the footprint, turns it into an amazing transitional home. I'm looking forward to see what she has for us in store next time. Thank you for joining us on Design Santa Barbara. See you next week.